Thank you so much for watching this video. I just want to give a quick overview of how to get in and what you can do right now with your Math 1240 course. Please be aware that only people who are teaching in the spring at this moment can actually access the book. If you want me to create a PDF of the book so you have something to look at if you are currently not teaching in the spring, but you just want to see what the book, how the layout is and whatnot, I'd be happy to do that. Let me know, and I'll do it whenever. Hopefully you have already received an email with the login information that you need. So when you go to the link that I will provide, which you can see there, mcraith.mobius.cloud/login, you would put that login information and then hit login because the account was already made for you. Once you are logged in, you will see one or two boxes. I have a bunch because of other projects I've done with Mobius, but you should at least see your Math 1240 section or sections depending on how many you have. Right now they are all the same. I made a master course which is basically all the book, the end of section, homework, the answers to the odd problems, and then all of the digital exercises together. When I teach, I pretty much will be asking all those questions, but we can talk about how you can make your own quizzes if you don't want to ask all of the questions. So if I click into one of my 1240 classes, you are seeing the teacher's view. The students would basically just see this and further down. We get access to this extra row here and then more options in the menu. Before we get to that upper part, let's talk about what the student would see. So off to the left, the software calls chapters units, which is fine. And we'll see a menu of our 5 chapters and then a last one to the answers to select exercises. If you click on any of these, you'll notice these are all basically the same setup of the text is the first one, followed by digital exercises. Oh, I got to rearrange those, not a big deal. And then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. With that, I wonder if I can show you how to rearrange those. With that, if we click into, let's just go to chapter 1. If I go to start, every section will have at least 2 portions. The point 1 sections will have an extra portion called the opening page, which is just your chapter introduction. Everything else will definitely have a text and an end of section exercises. If we go to the text, this is where the real textbook is at. I'll just go slowly here. I don't know if we have any images to show you what that looks like. But basically that's the setup, is to where, examples have a blue screen background, normal text is a white screen background, math text is this uppercase Arial font, I think that is. And then one added addition to chapter 1 definitely is the inclusion of the box, when do we use these formulas? Because the number 1 questions I get, at least in chapter 1, is when do we use these formulas? So I don't blame students for asking those questions, because especially after a while, not to use a term, but they definitely compound. So hopefully you'll like that addition as well. And then back up top, if they click on end of section exercises, this is just the back of the book, as you'll see. Actually, here's an image here. One feature in the text in the end of section exercises is to make it as compliant as possible, especially to make sure we optimize screen size and not make images too large. If a student clicks on an image, it will increase the size, and then there's also an explanation of what's in the image, and that's where the compliance kicks in. When a student is done, they can hit save and quit. It doesn't matter for the text portion. And there'll be a green check mark to say, hey, you read that. Read all 3 parts in this case. When they go to the digital exercises, here there'll be the properties, and I'll show you how to change these. And they can click start. and they see one question on the screen at a time, sort of like Alex, but they can go to any other question that we have there. You'll see somewhere the numbering of these. Maybe the student can't see those numbers, which is unfortunate because I made Brian and I really had to organize the numbering. But they can type this in and call it a day, and then they would hit next. And if they hit quit and save, they can come back to it at a later time. I'm just going to hit quit and save. Oh, and there's submit. So that works pretty much just like how my math lab is. And again, I'll show you the properties, and this tells the student, hey, you didn't finish this, by the way. Let me go to chapter 4, because definitely there's more robust images. So here is a pretty picture, and now when a student clicks on it, I have detailed a graph where vertex A connects to blah, 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 blah. So that way, if someone is visually impaired, their screen reader will pick this up. This text not only appears in the box, but it's hidden within the image itself. This is not something that Google and Firefox show when you mouse over anymore, like it did way back when. But if a screen reader will pick up the alternative text. Okay. That's the text itself. Let me go back here. And then the answers to the selected exercises. The way I had to do this was create a HTML link. So when you click on that, it opens up a PDF. And students can use that, download it, whatever they need to do. Now I would ask, we have 3 sets of eyes looking at the book. So there's no editor because it's a self-publish. So if you find a mistake, please let me know, and I'll make a change to the master, and then what happens is it rolls out to everyone else. There is a little asterisk on that comment, and I'll explain that in a second. So now if you want to make any changes to what you see here, like you don't want the base or whatever, you'll need to do the following. And unfortunately, it's a little bit of a curve here, but I'd be happy to help you if you have any questions. If you click on Content Repository, so students don't see this. This is the behind the scenes of what's going on here. There's 2 portions to the Content Repository that are important. The all content types are behind the curtain, behind the scenes. This is where I built the text itself, Brian and I built the questions, yada, yada, yada. Lessons and assignments, anything under here, that's what appears under the main page units. So all this stuff here is from lessons and assignments. So the process would be is you create a problem here, and then you create a lesson including that problem. So with that said, I'm going to go to chapter 5 where I have some things messed up. I'm going to see if I can change the order here. It doesn't look like I can. So, oh, wait. Click. It's happening. Can I drag that somehow? Oh, well. I'll have to contact the publisher, see if, how I can fix that for you guys. Sorry about that. Okay. So here again, chapter 1, and here's all the good stuff for chapter 1. Now let's suppose you want to assign digital homework, which is 100% optional. Even if you don't assign it, I would still ask that you keep it visible to the students so that at least they can try infinitely many problems if you so choose. If you want to hide anything, let's suppose I want to hide section 1.1 digital homework. I would click on this, and in the next screen, I would click on hide. And now when I go back to the main screen and click on chapter, oh, it's already on chapter 1. Notice 1.1 digital homework is missing. It's there, students just can't access it anymore. If you want to turn it back on, I wonder if you can click on the little eye here. Boop. Oh, no, you have to click on it again. and click on Show. So when you come back to things, the icon will change. So like if I don't know, went to 2 and then went back to 1, then the icon's there, and that means that it's back where it was before we turned it off. So you can turn things off. So if you don't want students to see digital exercises at all, you can hide them all. That's completely fine. If you wanted to modify the questions, like for instance, you don't want 1 through 7, for example, you just wanted 1, 2, and 3. So any changes you make like that will break from the master. And what that will mean is that if, for instance, we found a typo, like I wrote of instead of if, that's not even a word, of instead of if in a problem, and I wanted to fix that typo, it only will go out to sections that have this green icon here. I guess it's sort of like a share icon you would find on your phone. If you still have that green icon, that means you are linked to the master. If you create your own problems, you'll break from the master, and then you'd have to manually edit any major changes. Now, there's only 7 sections in the fall and the spring. We're not going to have hundreds of sections. If there's something like that and you broke from the master, let me know, and I will go in and manually edit it so you don't have to worry about a thing. Because especially if it's something much more fun, like editing the code behind a problem, I'd rather do that instead of you having to learn how to do that. Now, in order to quote unquote break from the master, what you'd have to do, and I'm gonna really wait for Mobius to teach you how to do this because I don't want to mess this up, but the process is you basically say clone into my class, for example, and then you would hide the other stuff. You would hide what you cloned. So basically if I clicked on this, I would clone or basically copy all of chapter 1. You can't just copy one section. We can ask Mobius if it can just be one portion, like if I just want to make my own digital homework, that's fine. But I don't think you can just, oh, it does say clone. I'm going to do it. I'm clicking on it. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, yeah. So notice what just happened. Here's my cloned homework. And notice there's no green thingy next to it anymore, even right here, which means that broke from the master. But now what I could do is I can go into edit here and go to select questions and say, oh, I don't want number 11. I'll click on this one. And then I think you click on this little trash can icon. I'm really scared about doing this, but I think we're okay. Do you still want to remove? You would hit okay. Oh, I'm so nervous. All right, and now it's gone, and then you would hit save and close. And now your version of section 1.1's homework does not have number 11 anymore. And then I think somehow you can sort these. I don't know why it's not showing here. There used to be like a little draggy arrow thing. Draggy arrow. So we'll have to ask about that to Mobius, but I'm actually going to delete it. Now, I will tell you, please be extraordinarily careful about deleting. It's for paid professionals only. So delete, confirm, because this is my actual course. I don't want to mess this up. Okay, we're good. All right, I didn't break anything. Phew! All right, that's good. But yeah, in the meantime, please just feel free to play with all this stuff, read it all. It's all there. You can start building your course. Oh, I didn't show you. You can change properties. It's like, for instance, if I go back into lessons, so this is where you mainly want to be. You barely, unless you're making something new, which again, please ask me to do it. I'd be happy to. You're going to be under lessons and assignments. So under lessons and assignments, you pick your chapter, it doesn't matter. And then if you click on your digital homework, if you're using it, you can click on Edit, and then you go to Properties. So this is sort of like if you've ever made homework within My Math Lab, this is like their third page. You pick the name, you pick the questions, and then you pick the properties. So homework and quiz is selected as default. I think you can change that. Oh, it doesn't say you can. I think that's so that it appears in the grade book. We can ask Mobius about that. Not a big deal. But then under there, you can write your policies. Like how many attempts you want, time limit, yada yada, all that good stuff. Right now, I will tell you the book doesn't have hints. That's something that Brian and I will work on in the future. Sort of like, hey, remember that monthly means 12, not 1 for chapter 1, because that happens a lot. Things like that. So it's up to you what you want to do here. I would imagine that the majority of us would be facing our time like in this area here. And then just save and close. There might be a way to create a template so that you don't have to do every checkbox every single time. That'd be a question for Mobius. But notice you can see start dates and end dates. So if you have due dates, that's where all that good stuff would go. I'm going to hit cancel out of here. Now, let's suppose that besides homework, you wanted to create quizzes. The quizzes, you can create a new unit here, and you can give it a name like quizzes. Or you know what? I'll just say chapter 1 quiz, and say add unit. And then if I click into that, I can create new, and then I can say assignment. And so I can call again chapter 1 quiz. And then I can select my questions. And then if we go to import questions, here's where you'll click on questions. And then I said chapter 1, I think, chapter 1, and then I'll pick my section. There's a lot of menu diving, unfortunately. And then here you go. These are the numbers that I sort of wanted the students to be able to see as well, but I guess that's just for us. These numbers correspond to the end of section homework problems. So if you happen to have the homework problems in front of you, like you printed out that page or whatever, you can say, oh, I want it 1, 7, and 9, for example. You would just click those guys, boop, and say import. And then you can rearrange these by clicking and dragging, things like that. And then you can keep adding some more. Import question, questions, pick your chapter, pick your section, select digital exercises, highlight some more, import, blah, 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 blah. And then you can go to save if you want to, or you can go to properties and then put in your properties. Here's where you get more options. Okay, that makes sense now. So, oh, look, you can make a project exam. That's nice. Yep. And then you can hit save and close. I'm going to hit cancel. It's going to yell at me, but that's okay. So you can make your own quizzes. Notice, though, that it's one of those things where it's, because I made something new that's different from the master, it's not linked anymore. But again, hopefully you've not made any other changes besides that. So if there was a mistake that was fixed in the homework before you made your quiz, you can, it'll be rolled out automatically. One thing I do want to note is that, oh, I hit cancel, didn't I? That's okay. If you, at any time during this course or the semester, there's a question that you love asking, but it's not in the book, but you would like it in the book, please let me know, because then what I'll do is I'll have like a hidden folder just for us under questions, and we'll just call it like question pool. And so that way everyone can get extra questions and put them in their quizzes and their homework, throw them on a test if they're going to do online testing. And I think that'd be great for all. I'm happy to work with you to get that problem in there, especially if I want to make sure I'm asking it correctly. I'd say 90% of the questions we have in there are algorithmically generated in terms of the values. There were a couple that there's no way to make it like that, but I'd be happy to make it that way. And also for Chapter 4, Network Theory, Mobius released some, not Mobius, Maple, which is Mobius is based off of, they released some new graph theory code, which I plan to incorporate once it gets to Mobius. So we can ask more robust questions that would now be algorithmically generated as opposed to having a still image, which, for instance, if I wanted a loop, Mobius doesn't understand loops just yet because that's the old Mobius, so it's got to get updated. So for that one, I just did a static image. But things that didn't have loops, they are algorithmically generated. All right, so you got my email. I will be checking it over break. Feel free to let me know how I can help you or whatever questions you have. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.